Hello Tech Genius, I am Ravi. Have you ever imagined a place where learning is as dynamic as the technology shaping your world? Then here's a deal. With iMatix, you can make sure the learning is exciting, impactful right from the beginning. You have interactive sessions with expert-led courses. In the world of tech, from data science to cloud computing, it's not just about a session, it's about doing, building, learning by solving real problems. So let's get started. We discuss the initiative. We discuss the IDP initiate single sign-on right. We should know the single SLO as a single login. How do we do that? Like suppose we have tested yesterday right for this one for MetaLayers IDP2. I can show you. And I have this session on here. Let me enter in. Right, what if I need to do the single logout session right here? If you see, there is one more command which is for the one endpoint, which is the IDP single logout, right? I can hit these, which will give the binding which binding are using. We can use that here. See, I have the services here. I'm refreshing it. I'm getting the able to log in right now if I hit it. And you see I'm getting the response. IDP initiated single logout subsided, right? It has been logged out. If I go to my ForgeRock console and if I refresh it, because I have logged out now, but this user has been logged in, I should have refreshed it. I should need to ask for the sign in again. Refresh it, say I have been logged out from the system because I have initiated the logout symbol single sign-on logout as well. Single logout, it is for single logout, the one we are testing, that the single sign-on SO single sign-on. Here we tested the log. If you want to implement the SL, you can do like this one. This is we need to do. You will be where you need to initialize the logout from the IDP. Initial single logout from IDP. For there you will use this endpoint SAML2.0 IDP out there. And you will give the binding and it will help you to log out. This one is for the SLO. Now we need to test the remote. I'll come to the SP service provider, SP initiated. Before that we need to. Sorry, do you have any question? No? This one we test relaying. And the key providers right. If you see, we an entity provided, we have to write hosted and remote. Hosted, like where you can do from UI from your system. Remote could be like from any other system or from any other application. Right? How do you do that? If somebody gives the XML file, right? Remote, if you click on remote. Here, it doesn't have that to create a 1 hour, because if you see if I show you, take one more. Sorry. If I come here, if for hosted one, if I go on hosted, I have the give the entity ID, entity provider and IDP and everything. here, but in remote there is XML file. We should have the format of XML file to create a service provider. What kind of file is this? If I show you, like this one, I have one file which is sp metadata xml1. If I open it, this is a format for a create XML file. I have the entity descriptor. It will give the entity ID. SPSO assertion assigned for the name ID format. Remember the transient we are giving over there. Here I have given this name ID format. And assertion consumer service which I have given. These are already, we are updating from our UI. Right? These are already over here. You can add as much as details over here, but this is the required for normal one, where we need to update name ID format assertion consumer service, where I give the location. If you compare with the any existing ones, which is in our hosted one, if I go to the Google comp, I give the entity ID over here, entity ID like this one, and the SPSSO authentication request assigned all this one. You can add more or reflect. It's fine. Name ID format. If you see, we give the name ID format over here, right? And this assertion consumer service. See, if I go also this assertion consumer service, this is currently required for this, that much we can give, any much more, that's up to us. But this is the minimum information we need to give to create a as service provider from our remote hosted services. Now I have this file. It should be the XML. I should have all the XML formatted one. There's no mistake on this one, right? Should be correctly XML one. Now I have this. What I will do, to create a one more SP, I want to get an entity ID. You can give anyone, like I have given the ping force 1 dot. Example metadata. I'll go to the next one and I'll drag it or browse it. I'll go and browse this one, then open it, right? This one I had added in circle of trust. I am adding in my circle of trust. It should create. See, this service provider has been created. You see all it's like now. What was like you created, like hosted. It will show exactly like that and will give you whatever you have added. Like I'm adding a name ID format list, like it's transient and everything looks fine. You can also single log out because it doesn't give any single log services, name ID service, because we don't require it yet. But if you want, you can give that. By hosted, it comes by default. But in some of the services we don't need, right? For the remote host until the application owner tell us what all the services you need for the sample. Then you say only I need a single sign-on for this application. That's fine. You can just give the name, ID format and region comments. That's fine. If he says I need a single logout service, you can add the single log out of service. It depends upon the requirement you get, right? Now we added with the assertion consumer service. I have created from this one from remote. Now if you see over here, you see their now location is coming in one because I have created from the XML file in SP. Others are coming hosted and assertion processing services. Now if I want to test you that testing, if you see there is no metalos over there, right? They haven't killed. Pranay, who is providing that XML metadata. this XML metadata provided by any other, like if some application owner like you have some other application or a write they want to do either. What happened? You can give them the format like, this is the format for our application. Then they give you the required information. I need the location would be this one. I need the name ID format this one. The entity ID would be this one. Right. Either you give them the format of your XML or some application or know what's the format of the sample, because in every product, if you take the have for the Oracle product, the accepts my service provider metadata XML format is same. Right. They use all these assertion. Customers are an entity ID SPSS detector mostly same. They know that this, it could be provided by the application owner, who application owner or developer. Developer, it's not developer you are developing depends. If an application owner doesn't know the format, developer is the order. Java developer, that's I'm saying. Now what are the depends like if somebody new to the sample application single sign-on, he doesn't know and he wants his application to be signed on by this IDP, correct? You can give him the format because you know, right? Otherwise, if application owner knows he has already been single sign on his application by some other, than you want to single sign on by you as well, right? Then he can give the format. Look, this is my XML format, please. And then it's not up to like, you use all is. Did you only use the required details? You will furnish the XML file as per the 440 cover here, and then you can use it. It depends upon which application owner you're talking about. Does he have the knowledge about the sample or not? If he already having a sample exam as being metafile according to his application, he will give to you and you will use it. Otherwise not, you will give him the format like, this is the format we are using for other application. Please fill your details and give us back. We will integrate your application. Now I have created this entity IDC and the ID and all everything. Now I want to test it. I already have the for drug IDP and alright. Now I just do the IDP initiated currently. If I go to my notepad and I need to create, here I have write. Let me simple. I have already created and I'll just create again. IDP because I have this for drug and IDP over there and myself. Metallics is IDP too. Entity ID and I need a service provider. Entity ID. Now I want to test my remote one. And here which one I have given. I have given the normal, which I usually get 7.4. I'll just change it to the, it's up to me, right? Because it's on, it will link me to that AM. I don't want that. I can update that. That's when I can update in my file as well, because I share with you to test it. You can put any look, any URL as you're testing in bank. I'll give you this file. You're able to test it, and I've added in here as well the format. Can copy from here. Otherwise, I'll give you the file directly here right now. And once now I need to test it right. Test it like my service provider has been integrated correct or not. I would do. Go here and then let me. I didn't say we tried. That's why they hit me to the 7.4. Let me see. I guess I didn't see. What is the line? If I check my pension over here, I'm getting this. Right? That's what I'm testing. I'm testing the forger. And the destination is this one which will hit and send a issue, and I call this an assertion we get. And this is how we can use the remote SP service provider. Can you show me your SOT? COT because while creating it, I've added an COT. Are you adding all these things? It's adding while creating, right? If you go to the remote, you see this one, this already over here. I selected over here and I selected the file. Same thing, but it is the remote one, correct? It's the same thing, but it's from remote. Basically, every time you don't go and create it, right? You just use the XML file for any application. They fill the details and report it. Why do you need to put all the default details as well, right? If you see, compared with the normal one, it has very limited details, right? It doesn't have all these extra single service, right? But if you see in any normal we create here, you will see a lot of details over here, right? People don't need that. If we need it, we can use it, but if we don't need it, why do we need it? Earlier, it's more flexible to create from the XML file. It will be more. Things will be in a control, right? Every time, go to the over there UI and be in production like some, because mostly in production environment, what happened? You don't have access to the UI. They write they don't allow this UI to be accessed, but it's already running on like Unix. Command Unix and all the ForgeRock services will be running, but there you can put it from the XML, right? It will be more easy. Yes, correct. We have done IDP and remote services. We need to test that. Let me clear you the file first. This is also IDP, right? This is also the IDP. Now we are going to tell the SP initiative. I can't give you the files. I'll do one thing. I'll give you the copy this, I'll give you this stand, right? Copy into the notepad and save it as sp metadata. Any name pinforce or sp metadatics. This is a format to save the file. Copy that and make you the owner. But how can I see those colors and all these things? Colors, this color. Did you save it on xml.xml? You will. You know it's just selected. If you select it, then you will see this blue. Yes, yes, yes. Did you save it with the .xml format? You will save it. Save it on the same material, same thing. Force has been same. .xml, right? You will see in this one in color than everything. Control S, sorry, I saved dot. Sorry, .xml, right? I saved .text. I thought data.xml yesterday. Now we need to discuss this SP initiative. SP initiated what it is? Service provider initiated it, right? Means it could be need to be. Currently we are tested IDP initiated. We need to log in into the our ForgeRock IDP means ForgeRock, then it asks to. Then we take to the application. Can you give me the single logout, that one answer that you are in? You can change the initial one and the rest will be same here. Yes, brother. Go ahead, please. We're discussing the single sign-on. Sorry, SP initiated a single sign, right? What in SP initiated single sign-on, we need to know where the user will start. Authenticate you from the service provider application, right? And then it will be redirected to the IDP, right? To have the user. For that, what we need to do, how we can test it. In IDP, we are initially user started from the IDP and then go to the service provider. In service provider, initiated user start from the service provider application and then redirect to the IDP. That's the difference. Now how we will test it for this one. Currently we are having the service provider application. Anything, right? Could be Bank of America, self-pend, any URL we want to go to. Now here, but we need now any service provider application running where you put the able to log in into that application. It could be any job application for testing on our system. What we could do? You can have one more AM services running. I have added one more AM services running over here, right? In the name you see here the spoke. I'll start the services. Have you created spoke already? Is there? No, it's already means I have created. Means it's a 7.41, but I've renamed it and running it from the another Tomcat. I have just copied the Tomcat folder, changed the server ports, right? Like we do initially, right? You have to change the server because we have already the server is running for your current ForgeRock applications. You need to change that. You need to put the same one way, like put the AM war file into the web apps, change the server details, and then you can start it. I'll get you. Same app tomcat and a different web file, or same tomcat, you can use same tomcat. Can you come again starting onwards? Like suppose this is a 1, I have one tomcat, right? Where have this? I have copied this my folder. Even like I have many things sometimes. If you see over here, I have this zip file, right? I have just copied my zip file to another folder. Here I zip file to another folder and I just unzip it. It's like a brand name, right? It doesn't have any war file in web apps. I'll go there. I'll put the web apps. It's a AM file. I've renamed it sp.1, got it, and then I go to the count1 and go to the server and update the my port level, hold it. It's AFFE2 and the my shutdown port as well, right? Anything you can give, that's up to you. Then these two important things done, then I'll go to the bin. I can try to restart the services. It's give me one more application running, which I can use that as a service provider. Let it run, and then for that I need to create it once. This one, I need to create this service provider application at my IDP application as well. Now this application, this one server will act as an IDP, and now the new application is running. It will act as a service provider, right? I'll show you one thing. Now you see I have already created one more IDP here with this identity provider, with this an entity ID, because this is my entity provider, right? I've already created one over here. And if you see, I have one service provider here. This is one module currently running. Let it run. I'll show you the running one. We need to use that. I'll take the browser for the service provider. Let it be running. This, now two applications will be running. One will act as an IDP. One will act as a service provider. When it's running service provider, once that's, I am able to test it to the service provider. That's how we can test in our local system for that one. Let it run. For that, what I know, this will be the my service provider URL localhost at 50/sp, right? See, this is the IDP, right? IDP service provider. I have created one IDP over there, and I have created a service provider over here with the same name, which is the other application is starting. And I give that transient and then session processing services. See this SP, Metalis is SP, and then assertion consumer services. This one I have given over here. Now I need to create the same service provider SP side as well. Let it be. Start. It's starting. Let me restart and let me show you the running the second application. This I have created localhost at 5 to my port, or as with NSSP is my File name, I'll go to my Chrome because I can't run it on the single browser, right? Because already one application running on Mozilla Firefox, I'll take another browser for that. I have already created the yesterday was while testing every like dbn. Like the picture and everything, like we create configuration and all we do, right? I've already done that. I have like new there now. This was SP. This will act as my service provider. Here as well, if you go to the Federation Entity Provider, I have created a DP and I have created a service provider here as well. If you see and get a circle out with us here with this thing, I need to create a service provider here, right, with the services SP same one. Whatever I created onto the IDP, right, the same services I have created over here with the session consumer service to this one where it will go. The second one, if I show you the we need to give one over here. Well, I need to go to the IDP, right? I'll give my IDP URL. They point me to the IDP. And the other one is also, I can use only one. I can read this one. Let's say changes. I have created one other service provider on my Google Chrome. This is my ID. This is my service provider, right? Where I have this service provider created. If you test this one, I see if this I have this help for testing with service provider, I'll use this endpoint. Samaj SPSP single pass service provider ImageSpin and MetalISP and HTTP POSH and entity ID is this IP ID. Why is this IDP entity ID? I'm giving because if you see this identity ID I have given, right? I'm giving this IDP entity ID. I have already created this just to save the time for testing. This IDP I have created. And then binding post, I have the HTTP post because SP is if you go, what the hell? I don't have to look at that. In my team with Bing and binding and using the HTTP post. If you go to SP and I'm using this HTTP post, that's why I have to add the binding which I'm using is HTTP post. This local host experiment to singles with single provider sign up JSP. I need to test it. I have this same provider running. Now I have this entity provider has been created for this SP1. Because this SP application has been running and same I have created. IDP services. Now if you see the IDP services, My IDP services are up and running, right? And I have this IDP and I've created this SP over here. Basically, IDP use this as well. I need to create both in both of the services to make sure my SP is up and running. If I try to test this one, now I can take any. Let me take the new window. Now, if you see, I have hit this one. See, it came first SP entity ID. Now it's hitting the service provider. It's not hitting the IDP one. It's hitting me, the service provider. I should have used a service provider application. It's because now I'm here. it is one acting as a service provider application. It's not an IDP one. Otherwise, if you see, if you go there the IDP directly, it will go to this URL, right? This URL host 8993. But it's not going to the A50 file. The service provider with this SP initiated. Now if I give this one, I have a user created over here already one. I created that user. If I go to the identities, I have this user created test one. I use this user to log in. And now it's asking me to go to the A993. Now it's going to the IDP. To authenticate it right now, we need to have either way. I can use the same user on both application, right, for the sign on, right? Or you can use that different user as well, and means maybe the username could be different, right, for both application, right? Or it could be same. But right now we can use with this. This is my IDP. Now I am able to log in with this user. That's a service provider initiated. What they'll do, it will give me the started from the service provider. And I hit the service provider, then it redirect me to the IDP. That's been shown as a service provider initiated. Did you understand that? This is how we'll do the service provider initiated. We can see how we can do the service provider. Let's try that. Explanation single logout. Let's try that. It will be like we have tested a single sign-on for the ASP initiated. Let's try to test it for the ASP logout as well, for the ASP initiated logout. Single logout. It would be like this. I have the different URL for the ASP. Let's see where we have this one here. See, now ASP initiated single logout succeeded. Right. Now if I try to hit it, it asks me to log in again. Because I have been logged. But that's how this ASP initiated single logout will work. Because we are using the HTTP pause for this on binding, right? That's why I have to give that binding. Can you give me that URL also? That's how our. Let me go back to our original. We tested all this service provider, multiple service provider, and it. We tested the host street and remote, and we created a circle of trust. You can get any. There's no limitation of creating all this entity, providers or circle of trust. As much as you want, you can create it. Pranay, can you come down once? So, can you come down? Scroll down. You are created as side and IP side. Correct. How you created? Hosted one. This side, the entity is the same as your service provider URL. Service provider URL, Assis, PC side. I know it could be hosted, that's fine. For hosted you can also create from remote, but you need to create an XML file for that. Can you create once in front of me? And some which you want to confuse. Next file. How you started this one? Most is the right. This one's simple. You know this application is running. If you go over here, this application I have run here. This is what the URL for this one which I have started, this one, right? Like this one which I have able to log in, right? If I log in, log out. This one. This one, right? This your services, I have created this one. I have copied over here, copied it with only host. We give the ID. It will not ask me to create and give the SP over here and give that is. This is when this is fine. What about the entity provide base URL? What is that? Entity provide. This is the entity provider, right? I will go copy that here. The entity provider URL. This one. This is the ADP side now. Is ADP side. You seem you can create. Add to the SP side as well. If you go to the P side. If I log, they migrated from the SP side as well here an IDP, like where I created an IDP in both. I am a console, I created this. And this same circle of trust. It could be different. That's fine, I just created for the understanding. Same I created over here. P here, which IDP I'm going to use. And then I tested it with the as a service provider single sign on GSC page. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel.